This past week, I had somebody here who is one of the most iconic gear designers of our day. He's designed tents for MSR, Sea to Summit, Sierra Designs, and some of the most popular tents that have ever existed, like the MSR Hubba Hubba. And he's now working for Zenbivy as the CEO. He's the founder of Zenbivy, the company that develops all of the crazy sleep systems that everybody loves. And they're finally coming out with their very first tent. And he showed it to me, and I will tell you, it is interesting and amazing all at the same time. And I seriously believe this is going to change camping for a lot of people. And I want to know what you think as we head out now into my backyard, which is where he showed it to me, right out here, and take a look. Real quick, before we head out in the backyard, it's backpacking season, which means people are wanting to go backpacking now and learn how to backpack now and buy all their gear now. And sometimes people just don't know how to do that. So maybe you don't know this, but I wrote a backpacking course. And it's not just this, it's actually an online course. This just comes with the course. It's 18 videos. It's my heart and soul, everything I've ever learned about backpacking put into this really easy to understand course. Teaches you everything you want to know. And it's 20% off right now because it's the start of the backpacking season and we just want to help you guys out. So click the link in the description below. Also put this code in right here when you check out and you'll get 20% off. And we really hope it helps you guys out. So, all right, on to the tent.
I'm very excited to see this tent. I've been excited to see some tents. This is probably one of those, like, I am very intrigued.
So yeah, it's a trekking pole tent. So we'll set up the floor first. Here's your 2 stakes.
Okay. 1-person tent, right?
Yes, sir.
But you can fit 2 people in here?
It's 40 inches wide.
Oh, in
So
a pinch?
So
You and your dog?
Your dog could definitely fit. You'll see it's larger than a normal one.
But this is a prototype.
This is,
Or is this the official?
these are the pre-production samples.
Pre-production
So
sample.
this is quote unquote done.
What do we want to keep our trekking poles to? Does it matter?
Probably as long as you can make
As
them.
long as you can make them.
So the key is you're just gonna find your
Tip down?
tip down, your pocket on the side.
Oh, it's even got your logo on there. All right, okay. So right in the pocket, right?
Yep, and you just wanna make sure it's tall, that makes this seam tight.
Okay. Yep, I think we're good.
Now you gotta undo this little bundle. Ready?
Okay. Yeah. You're going to have a lot of open area for it, huh?
Yes. So just like any tarp, it
Oh, I
requires a
see.
lot more space. So this is the tricky part because the front is an awning. You have to have the awning pulling
Okay.
to the right
Oh, I see.
sort of angle.
Yep.
So that you're
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There was a big crease before. It's no longer here.
right. And now I'm too wide. So see, you got to fiddle.
Got
There's
to
a little
fiddle.
fiddling. With
Got to fiddle.
And on this one, you just want to make that, there's a long guy line on it, but you just want to make it as short as it can. Kind
Okay.
of shorter, shorten it up and then just stick it down in there. So for under 2 pounds, it's pretty big, right? It's not designed for, it's definitely designed for comfort. You've got on the front of it, basically a lean-to style tarp that's covering that whole front of the door. Most tents disconnect you from the outdoors to protect you. This allows you to remain protected and connected. So you can see and cook.
Protected and connected.
I'm going to write that down. So when you want full protection like you have right here, so, you're a solo person. So, obviously our gear is being stored off to the side away from the door.
How heavy is this again?
This is just under 2 pounds and it's a 20D polyester. In a tent like this where it gets wet and sags, the polyesters now are just much crisper.
Sure.
The yarns don't absorb water. You know what this tent does better than any other tent out there is when it's raining. If I know it's going to be raining, even on a kayak trip where I can bring my big Hilleberg, if I know it's going to be raining all night long, I bring this because camping in the rain in this is so much better because you're not disconnected.
Sure.
You can see outside.
So there's technically 8 stakes and you're about to put a 9th, am I right?
Correct.
Okay.
So this one here, you can see just gives you a little bit of extra shoulder room in the back.
If you want it.
Yeah. So go ahead and just sit in there. And so now you can imagine you just arrived. It's pouring rain.
Yeah,
and now you're sitting there. Your pack is here.
Yeah.
You set up your tent, and now even if you're sitting there dripping wet, you're out of the rain, and you can now manage the spot because the drip line for the water is out in front.
I'm actually really surprised how much room there is in here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's 40 inches wide. So the idea is that your gear, internal gear, kind of gets stored in the shallow space along the back wall.
Yep.
And then 78 inches in the front.
Sure.
So the long mattresses will basically just fit from in the front, and it gets wider towards the back, as you can see.
And I'm going to guess condensation's almost nothing.
Well, it's a single wall. So
right, but there's so much ventilation.
Right. And
I mean, when you got this up, I suppose, but...
And that front door, so pop your shoes off and go inside. I'll show you one other thing. So controversially...
is this a head end over here?
It has a drop door. A drop door lays on the ground when you're...
Yep.
And
sure, the difference is you lay it inside the tent.
You do. And it's basically what it does is it becomes it's a drop wall. So if there's no bugs... and there's no, and it's raining, you can just sit there just like that. So it's basically, you're just sitting right on the ground. But if it starts to get windy, the reason I like a drop door is you can start trimming up these sides, and then
look
you
at
can
that.
still sit out, if you had your stove out here.
Or if it's raining really hard and it's splashing.
Right, and you're getting some splatter or whatever, you can still see.
Okay.
Right? You can look outside.
I can look outside.
See me.
Do these separate?
Yes, you can drop that.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see.
The inner door... You can see the wind door doesn't go all the way to the top.
Yep.
Zip it all the way up and you can see that it stops. And that's just to save all that zipper length coming across the top and allow you to still see and look outside. Or you can drop the wind panel and look at how it stores into the pocket. You're going to be excited. Roll it into this little pocket.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. You don't even...
Do the little snap.
You can snap it if you want. Although...
And that makes the wind door... The wind panel on the front door just disappear.
It has disappeared. That's cool. That's actually really
cool. This is mostly how you would sleep in it, right? Unless, like, maybe if you were in a crowded spot and you wanted to get changed, it gives you a little privacy to be able to put that up, but mostly...
So this wind, you call it a wind panel?
Yeah, on the door, yeah.
It's that's the rain panel. Right outside here, that's going to keep most of the rain, even when it's kind of coming at an angle, I would guess. Right?
Correct. Okay. Now, if you can imagine wind blowing straight in here, you're going to need to. That wind panel is going to become rain from the bottom up. It'll get wetter and wetter depending on the wind coming from the bottom.
This is way cooler than I thought it was going to be. I'm not just saying that because you're here, because I don't feel like I'm
cooped up.
Yes.
That's why I said I always end up bringing this tent when it's raining, because if you're going to spend hour after hour after hour in the tent, because it's raining, I think you want to be able to see outside, cook, relax, not feel trapped.
Yep. This is based off of a old design of yours, right?
This was yes, it was a tent that Jim Giblin and I designed back in the early 2000s. It was originally designed as an avalanche shelter.
Sure, yep.
We converted it into this little, basically lean-to style tarp.
Two pockets. Oh man, what the heck? Where's my I need my loop up here for my headlamp.
Is there not a loop in there?
No loop.
Not yet. See, that's the beauty of showing it to you before it's done.
Oh, okay, all right.
See, we can put a loop up there.
Needs a loop. Loop it.
Are you sure there's no loop?
I see loops in the corners.
That's where the loop is.
Like a loop over here and a loop over there. I think there needs to be a loop like right here. I think right up here there needs to be something that I can just... A headlamp.
Here's me saying, I'm open to that. Right? I'm open to that idea. So the cool thing about this is, if it was just raining straight down, drizzling, even with those side panels, the vestibules, if you want to call that, even with them lifted up, the drip line is still out here.
Oh yeah.
So you can envision it raining right now.
Yep.
And you're not getting rain.
Yeah.
This basically is the experience. You're experiencing it right now. Why would you want a Giblin? This is it. You're able to sit inside, remain connected. You can see out. You can store all your gear. You can cook, manage ventilation. It's very tarpy. So depending on how you want to calculate the footprint, it has a huge footprint.
It's a big footprint, right?
Because
but it's going to do best. I'm saying it's going to be doing best like in an open environment without as many obstacles to set it up. But the footprint to sleep on is small.
Right. I feel
like
that's how I view it. Remember when we were setting up earlier? I'm like, my head's there, my feet are there. So all I ever look for is the one spot I need to put my mattress.
Here's why I also don't think it's not as big of a footprint as you may think, because other tents, the vestibule doors got to go all the way to the ground. Which makes that footprint much larger, because sometimes you got a big rock here, or
Yeah,
a tree, maybe you got a big tree here or something like that you're trying
so
to...
imagine we had a big tree right where we wanted this guy line here.
Yeah.
One advantage of these wind panels, so this is where I get into like, yes, it's a tarp, is
Oh, sure.
I can deploy this wind panel here,
Wind panel deployed.
and then I can kick this back a little.
Oh, we're kicking
and then
it back.
this becomes, see how it will stay up on its own.
Oh.
So the tent doesn't fall down.
Okay.
And so if there was a tree here or whatever,
Worst
I don't
case
need this
scenario.
for support. I could wrap this around the tree.
Sure.
You could do,
A little Jimmy rigging.
the places where is best is, you're alone, you're camping out of the tent. Where it's least good is I'm with 20 other people in a popular spot. Now I've got my guy lines out all over the camp. We're all camped over there, hanging out, and I'm just using it as my bedroom. Its value kind of goes down. So it definitely is designed for, having bivvying out of.
Okay.
Right? You're going to sit
So
in
this
there
is the tent that a lot of guys will bring their chairs and they'll go sit over here to hang out. This
Right.
is the
Not
hangout.
this is where you're hanging out. Right.
Sure. He made this sound like it was difficult to set up. That was not difficult to set up. That was very easy to set up.
It's a little
I think
tricky.
it was tricky because it's different, not because it's difficult, though, I think. Because that was just like stake out four corners and
pop the poles in, and then you got
them out. Yeah, you're done.
It is. You stake out the four corners, you pop the poles in, and then there's a little bit of more fiddling because you're using a guy line.
Like
versus
any
just
trekking
going
pole
straight
tent, though.
down. Yeah, it is. It's very similar to
So, but when you're guying it out, you kind of want to follow this seam line, I would guess, right?
Correct.
Are these reflectics?
The guy lines are all reflective.
Good, because I could see myself killing myself in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah,
Get up to pee.
And so those are like the disadvantages of a tarp, right? We've talked about them: the wide space, the guy lines, and but they create to me, having that front porch area, it transforms what the door is. The door is now not just a door, and in fact, since it's a drop door, it's really a removable wall, but it's also a huge vent.
For
the
sure.
whole front of the tent is a vent.
Yeah.
Right? A covered vent. So ventilation is never your issue here.
What about the colors? Is this
These
just like
are going to be the colors. We like this green. I think Mason's going to there's actually two colors here, which you probably can't see. There's a darker inner color, and then the fly is a slightly lighter color, and they're kind of too close. The darker green on the inside is going to get a little darker.
Okay.
The outside is going to be this sort of lighter green. What do you think of the color?
I like it. People appreciate less obvious colors.
Right.
If it's like this, if it was like an orange or something like that, some people love it, but a lot of people would hate it because they like to be a little stealthy.
Blend.
Okay, what else do I want to know about this tent?
When I set it up, usually I set it up just like this, so that there's one side that's closed and the other side that's open, and I just put all
put
my
your
gear
backpack
in
over
one,
there.
so that I always have one side for all of my gear to kind of be in and out of the way.
That's what it looks like when it's not set up.
Yeah, I think pretty good.
I gotta ask the big question: what are you gonna sell it for?
Yeah, we don't know. I don't think we have priced it yet. Probably in the realm of $300 to $400.
I was just thinking in my head $350 for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's probably about right. This tent is not ready for production. This is the pre-production tent, and every other tent I've made, the second year we've made it has had changes from the first year that we learned from the first year. So rather than just launching this and putting this out with people, we've done a short production run. And then all this summer, we're going to be doing field testing. We're going to see if people want to put little loops up here in the top.
Yes, they will.
Any other little things that might pop up that we didn't anticipate or it hasn't come up in our early testing. And then we're going to make tweaks, and we will probably do one short production run.
What's this called?
This is called the Giblin. Giblin 1.
Giblin.
The Giblin.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's named after Jim Giblin, who
Yep.
was the guy who worked on the original design. Got to be 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
now your viewers, that we have some set aside for your viewers.
Oh,
That
really?
they can get them early in the testing. So
Okay.
there's people who are watching that are like, I gotta have it. I want to see it. We have a small fleet of tents for the Dan Becker channel.
All right. Okay, so if somebody wants this tent today, how can they get the tent?
There's only one way to get it, and they can click on the link that we've provided to you that you'll put in the YouTube video, and that'll take them to a secret place
Secret place, description below, there's going to be a secret place.
on the Zenbivy site,
Okay.
and they can apply to be a tester. The only people that we're accepting into that program are people from the link, so it'll be all
Okay.
your channel viewers that
All
are
right.
going to be able to see it. And then if they're chosen, I think we have 5 tents set aside for your viewers for testing. They get the tent, they use it, they send us their feedback. That's a key part of it because we're trying to refine it and make sure that we're getting feedback from a variety of people. And then at the end of the test, they can keep the tent.
They get the tent. That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So all they got to do is try it and tell us what they like and don't like. We give them a form of how to do it, a usual testing form and whatnot. So
cool. All right. I think the tent's awesome. I hope you guys do too. Comment below what you guys think of it. And thanks for being here.
thank you.